So today I recall getting up at around 10:15 in the morning. At which point I got to work on finishing kiwi slices. Oh well, I do prefer them to the ginger that's also provided. As well, these kiwi slices have a sweet taste to them. You know, the ginger has a pretty harsh and bitter taste. This is the king salmon sushi pack. I finished the styrofoam I started working on yesterday today at around 3 p.m. And after I went to the corner store at around 1 p.m., in order to get some milk. My mom told me to watch for the sell-by dates and to get the smaller containers, presumably the half-gallon containers. But I ended up getting a gallon of whole milk. From that small milk and butter section in the corner store within a far corner. At the corner store, I also got some Arizona beverages. Like this one, I got one orange mango. For my mom, along with a watermelon one and one herbal tea energy one. And I also got 2 Monster energy drinks that seemed like would be new experiences to me. I got one Ultra Gold Monster Energy drink. And a seemingly new Rehab Monster Energy drink. That seemed to be a fusion of tea and lemonade. I believe both of those Monster Energy drinks had very few added sugars to them. Very few sugar, in general. With the Rehab Monster Energy drink having a total of 3 grams of sugar within the whole can. I made this trip to the corner store, in which I was initially going to get about 2 more Monster Energy drinks. I believe another not 2 more Monster Energy drinks, 2 more Arizona cans in the aluminum cans. Mom prefers them because she says the taste is better in the aluminum cans than in the plastic bottles. And I prefer the aluminum cans because they're bigger. And I perceive that it's less detrimental to the environment to produce aluminum than it is to produce plastic. That's what I think. Since you need petroleum in order to make plastic. I've been told that in the past. But I'm currently not sure if you need petroleum in order to make aluminum. But anyway, when I put those 2 initial extra Arizona cans back in their proper places by pushing back against the cans within the big freezer cooler beverage section at the back of the store. The cashier recognized me because, or I think the technical term is clerk, recognized me because I have a long history with what I call the corner store, but is actually North Greece Grocery. I made this trip to the corner store around 1:15 to 1:30 p.m. after Mom got back into the house after spending hours in considerable heat. I think it was somewhere between, if I recall, I checked on her phone, it was some 83 degrees Fahrenheit with a real feel of 87 due to the humidity. She didn't finish her coffee this morning because we didn't have any milk left. To put into the coffee. I also have thoughts that I may have stayed up rather late into the night until about 3 in the morning to finish that styrofoam drawing I started yesterday. Or at 3 p.m. before the trip to after the trip to the corner store and before the trip to Wegmans. But I am certain that I did finish that styrofoam drawing today. When Mom came in around 1 p.m., after having finished mowing the lawn, she was painting, sweating, and covered in some fudge. Some fuzz. That probably came from plants. Something that caused her to do some sneezing after a bit. I went to the corner store. I went both to the corner store and to Wegmans. In a shirt much like this, some pants, and my rainbow tie-dye Crocs. I noticed that in the pants I picked, there was already one of my old Brockport masks. So I brought it with me. By keeping it in the pocket. Just in case the store required that I wear a mask. Since this was the first time in a long time I would be walking to the corner store. Someone must have bought that forest that was between our home and the corner store. because they ended up clear cutting it in order to make room in order to construct a senior living facility, I believe, is what I was told. And seeing that forest replaced by a construction site with its appearance of some kind of barren desert filled me with some dread. Both on the way to the corner store and on the way to Wegmans, I picked up a bit of litter and took care of it by either recycling it or throwing it away. I think the trip to Wegmans was around 4. Or around 3:30 p.m. We ended up going in for essentially just a couple of things. I came in because I wanted some sushi. And, I think Mom came in in order to get beverages, such as the sparkling ice beverages we ended up getting. But as we looked for those items, we ended up, as they call it, wanting things we didn't even know we wanted. I got some kombucha. And partially at Mom's insistence, some sort of egg bites. And without Mom's insistence, I got some pad thai for 2 packages. Mom got a second gallon of milk, which ended up barely fitting in the fridge after I sort of pushed it in and moved some things down from the top shelf. And Mom suddenly remembered that we were almost out of coffee. She got a medium roast, and I got the darkest roast they had, because I like having dark roast coffee plain. Excuse me. After we were done with the grocery shopping, we brought the groceries home. I helped with both bringing them in and putting them away. We then went out on the road briefly again in order to check on an apparent chicken and pulled pork dinner deal they were offering as part of a fundraiser. Mom got this particular card because she remembered that someone's birthday was coming up within the week. I thought I heard that she said it was in Arcadia, but it turns out it was actually supposed to be in Athena. And when we arrived there around 4 p.m., or maybe 4:15 p.m., there was no sign of that fundraiser taking place. So she thought maybe they canceled it because today it had been raining on and off at this point, as my laptop informed me. On Stronghold Kingdoms, I've been focusing on improving my military for research, increasing the hit points of my archers, and now most recently, a research upgrade to my command, which is meant to increase the amount of combat units I can have within one village, such as archers, swordsmen, and catapults. But these combat units also share a sort of spare unit space, which is also shared by units like monks, who cost 25 space points each, merchants, and scouts. So I can't dedicate the entirety of the space to combat units. The monks come with some pretty beneficial powers. I did some work on the 99th Dan Hamming episode, primarily by doing a bit of work on that hospital scene, and deciding for it to pick the music from the Uranus track from Where in Space Is Carmen Sandiego, 1990s computer game. Excuse me, because it seemed to me that the Uranus theme is a more positive spin on the Mercury theme of the same game. I had both the Ultra Gold Monster Energy drink and the Rehab Monster Energy drink throughout the afternoon period. I also spent some time updating some mods on my Skyrim mod list. I have some 92 mods active, but despite that, I've never actually played Skyrim Special Edition despite owning it. I listened to some Skyrim mod showcase videos on YouTube, and me trying to mull over what track to use from Where in Space is Carmen Sandiego led to me watching the Bill Nye episode on planets and moons so I could see which way he would pronounce the sideways planet, either Uranus or Uranus. And based on a few data points I've gotten, it seems the general scientific consensus when talking about the planet professionally is to pronounce it Uranus. But I think there's, with Uranus generally being reserved for more casual conversations, at least that's what I'm thinking. But I also think there's a third possible pronunciation that might be correct, which is what I used earlier in the video, Uranus. Since it's spelled U-R-A-N-U-S, Uranus. And then I watched technically the first Magic School Bus episode. Well, actually just bits of it. And same for the one on weather, just bits of it. I believe I did that after the Wegmans trip. And having sushi for lunch. Along with the Rehab, cracking open the Rehab Monster Energy drink. Because the sun stays out until roughly 7 to 8 p.m. within the part of the United States, the northern parts of the United States in the summer.